I'll open this October 19th Board of Commissioners meeting at 9:01 a.m. Commissioner Morhurst has been excused. First up, any comments not on the agenda? Going once, going twice. Do we have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion to approve the minutes from October 12th.
So moved.
Second, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And on the consent calendar, we have a contract with OHA for immunization and reproductive health services, BOC appointments, and Fair Board reappointment. Any items on the consent calendar to remove for discussion?
No.
If not, we'll consider a motion to approve the consent calendar.
So moved.
Second, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Mr. Dean Bender, please approach.
Morning, Commissioners. Here today to give you an update on the Organ Alert project. First, I wanted to read you the Organ Alert mission statement that the state put out. Ensures access to timely and informative alerts, warnings, and notifications through implementation of a statewide system that enables state, county, city, and tribal governments to issue alerts, warnings, and notifications, providing people in Oregon with meaningful opportunities to make life-saving decisions in the face of emergencies. I provided you a kind of a timeline of our project. The board approved moving forward with Organ Alert back in May of last year. Since then, there's been a lot of work that's happened. We went live in September of 21. Our old system called Civic Ready and Polk Alerts, that's the name of our system. Everybody's kind of named their own, but since we're combined with Marion County, we came up with the name Polk Alerts. They ran side by side until we felt good enough that we could go ahead and let Civic Ready go and continue with Polk Alerts. Our trainings began with the executive team back in June of last year. There's been a lot of meetings. I provided you copies with the meetings we've had and trainings and stuff, so you can see that, but there's a lot of stuff that's been going on. And then the state just published this month the guidance, alerts, warnings, notification. So if you have insomnia, you can read that bad boy and enjoy it. Some of the challenges we've had with the system is the time commitment. It's a much bigger time commitment to manage the system than we previously thought. It takes a big portion of Echo Holbrook's time. I'm hoping they'll get better when we get all the groups set up, but there's just a lot to do. Another challenge is being coordinated with Marion County. They're actually about 6 months behind us with their implementation, according to Echo's talking to Everbridge. The city of Salem is, I think they're pretty much on ball. I think they might even be a little further than us because they've been using Everbridge before that. So challenges also conduct individual department trainings, internal and also external with our partners. That's been a little bit challenge. And then we do not have IPAWS authorization locally. We have to use the dispatch center. It doesn't keep us from getting IPAWS messages out if we had to. It just has to be done through the dispatch center because there's a bunch of credentialing you got to do and stuff to be able to send that out. Not be big, just push the button and send IPAWS.
Is that what goes out to like our cell phones?
That goes out to anybody in like a geographical area, landline, cell phones.
Okay, it's the big one. Yep.
Yeah, it's the big push. Some of the plan activities we have is still create more internal information groups for department heads, continue to coordinate with partner trainings, coordinate test exercises with the internal groups. And if you haven't heard, Echo Holbrook submitted a resignation. She's moving out of the state. So I was training a new EM coordinator as a system administrator. I've got like a week and a half to see if I could pick up some stuff from her because I've given this project to her to kind of run. So she knows all the ins and outs of it. And now I'm thinking I should have been more involved probably with it because now I got to do some catch up myself. But by numbers, we do have 67,202 phone numbers in our system, which is pretty good. And you can see by the cities in the document I provide you, there's it doesn't mean that 67,000 of our 87,000 people have it. because these are also businesses and things like that. And some of these numbers are duplicates because maybe they have a cell number and a VoIP number and stuff. VoIP is the voice over IP stuff, and as well as landlines. I will say Echo Holbrook has done a great job working on this. She's been very frustrated sometimes because it is confusing. She had to manually upload 16,000 records herself from the Civic Ready that didn't transfer over. That was a heavy lift for her. She's created 244 records for Polk internal communications. She's created 100 plus roles for permission levels within Polk County. And then she's created 34 groups for the cities, fire departments, law enforcement, and county departments. I also provided, like I said, I provided you a training plan that even shows the meetings that were canceled for various reasons, but going back to May of last year. And then actually we have a meeting later today with City of Dallas and some more additional training that they've requested that we're going to sit down on and learn some more. But that's kind of where we're at. We are live, we're going, and you know, it's one of those things that it's good to have. Hope you never have to use it, but other than, you know, not emergency type notifications. So any questions?
So is there going to be a drill process or, you know, some sort of dry run training for, you know, for citizens?
Yeah, it's difficult to do that because it's like during the wildfire over in Marion County, some people get really tired of the warnings going off. And so we don't want to do it unless it's something live. But I think a test would be a good thing for people to see that, hey, if my phone does work or my home does work, we'll just have to get some good notifications out that this will be a test on this date and time. And the message will start off, this is only a test, you know. I remember the old days of the tested national broadcast system, you know, this was a real emergency, you know, in case your family could buy type thing. We would probably do something like that. I think it'd be a good idea. And we do have on our plan to do exercises. So including department ones.
I guess my consideration, I get the whole, you know, false warning concerns, but on the other hand, I do relate to the national broadcast system testing and have become familiar with that. When I hear that tone, I know, and I don't know if it exists anymore, but if I hear that tone, I know to stop and listen. I mean, that's just my training, but I'm not sure that the newest generations in our society understand that. And I'm concerned that as we move to a new platform of warning, that people will just ignore it.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, at least for the first few times during an actual event, until they finally figure out there's actually something happening.
Yeah. It's funny, right after this, it's not funny, but it's after the September thing with the Marion County, I ran into the EAS coordinator for the Oregon. He's now retired, but he still keeps his fingers in it. I ran into him at Home Depot, and he asked me, he goes, you know why they didn't send out the EAS? And I said, I don't know. I said, but we should have. That's what it should have happened. And because it's a parallel system, it's one that comes across your TVs and stuff and your radio. And so there is an after action event or after action meeting on that whole event with the fires and as well as with the power shutoff. And so I'm sure that will be brought up because I'm going to attend that meeting and I'm going to remind them that we also have this EAS system that, you know, we need to use as well. It needs to go and you try to fill every one of those holes out there for communication. So,
yeah, my concern as well would be that there's some mindset that we're going to convert everything to one warning system, and I don't think that's appropriate. It's not enough, and not everybody's going to hear that particular warning system or see it. So I think the more we have for actual events is appropriate, especially given what we saw during the last power system shutdown and the confusion and the challenges there. You know, the more we can associate those kinds of things to community impacts, the better off we are.
yeah.
I mean, I can tell you yesterday afternoon in South and Southwest Polk County, Consumers Power must have been a substation problem again. and there was a power outage down there for several hours, and there's no communication to anybody. People are just, they don't know what's happening. Nothing happens. So I'm curious about whether power companies, power systems like that one's a cooperative, will be involved in this alert system as well.
From my understanding, each of the power companies for the power shutoff did communicate with their customers, although I'm not sure that's 100% accurate. And that's why they were pushing for us to do a WIA alert. And we would not, because it didn't rise to that threshold for a WIA. A WIA alert, just for record, is you're wanting the public to take action on something. And this was well broadcasted that these power shutoffs were coming. It was all over the news. It was in social media and everything. And, you know, I think Polk County and Marion County, we did the right thing. We did not. Marion County did send a message out to their opt-ins for that type of stuff. We chose not to. And I think we did the right thing because we don't want to desensitize people on those things. We want them to take action. It's a serious thing when a WIA goes out. So, but again, that's another issue. But
Now that you've used that acronym a few times, you probably should say what the acronym actually is.
Wireless emergency alerts.
So that's our Everbridge system.
Yeah.
So do we have standards for, let's use fire as an example. Would you only send something out for like a level 2, get ready?
No, you would send
Or
out
level
for
1.
all that. In that particular fire, this Marion County was putting those alerts out into Marion County, into Polk County. It was their incident. I mean, they were in charge of the evacuation areas and stuff. So that was their call.
Yeah. And I understand that Everbridge, each city, each fire department, police department could send an alert.
Yes.
One question I have, and I think we'll probably discuss this in an upcoming meeting, is how do we ensure that we don't get conflicting messages from different agencies out to the same constituents? What are the standards?
Well, it'd probably be no more confusing than Facebook and all the other stuff is out there that sends all types. But you're making a good point.
Right. I think this tool could be, hey, let's cut through the noise of social media, and here's the information I actually need. So, when I was informed of that, okay, that's good that each can, but what happens when there are conflicting messages?
Yeah,
I imagine that'll happen.
Yeah, I know. I want people to come back to a certain spot.
Yeah.
I always say our our county webpage. That's where they should be getting some information. Or if it's the city, they should go to the city's webpage because, believe it or not, people don't put things out there quite true and they exaggerate. And so
our emergency management webpage would have real-time updates during an event.
That would be the plan.
Okay.
I mean, but
I think
we're not, we're 24/7, but we're not 24/7.
Right.
I mean, things happen in the middle of the night. If something happened with the fire department, they're going to be putting something on their page, whatever. And then we would try to catch up and start monitoring it.
One would hope, short of these like power system shutdowns, that any of those communications, it's all coordinated through an incident command management plan. And so again, we don't want folks downstream of incident command collaboration to be making decisions about emergency orders. So that's the challenge that the groups, I think, have, is making sure everybody understands, look, on virtually every incident, there's an emergency incident system that's going to give some command structure to how we do all that. So,
but the power shutoffs, the preventative power shutoffs, I mean, that's a private company making a decision. What is the collaboration with? I mean, I know P&E did some big leadership meetings during, but Pacific Power did not. So what is the collaboration with our emergency management?
Well, we had a lot of interaction with mostly PGE. I had some emails from Pacific Power,
but they just handle all the communications to the customers.
Mm-hmm.
So in that case, we wouldn't take ownership of the communication,
right?
But in a regular event,
we could take the information and post it.
Okay.
We wouldn't change it. I would want to take their information, just copy and paste.
So how close do you think all the agencies and cities to being ready to use Everbridge during an event? How is it, as there's turnover, I mean, those agencies should be responsible for the training, I would assume, right? When there's when
I mean,
new
it's,
people get in and
yeah. Originally, I'd say Everbridge, they really wanted the county emergency management to basically do all the messaging and all that. And I said, nope, that's not gonna happen. Because for one, there's a delay. What happens, you can't get a hold of me and then, or Hecko or something. And we really wanted to mimic what we had at Civic Ready because it worked. I mean, they were all responsible for their own things. This one's a little different because it has to be more of a collaborative piece, but I would say there's some different levels in Polk County of been trained, willing to be trained. Some agencies I don't think have done anything. I couldn't give you which ones those are off the top of my head. I will tell you that the city of Dallas has been much more active in the training. They even brought the coordinator over for some individual trainings over there, which is great. So I think they're, from all the cities, I think probably Dallas is probably the furthest along. It's gonna take time. It is much more confusing. Everbridge is like the Cadillac of notification systems. There's a lot of bells and whistles. There's things that, if you're sending a big enough announcement, you have to throttle things back because the systems, the switches can't handle it. So if you don't throttle it back, everything stops. And a lot of people don't know those things, including myself. I don't know what our throttle limits are from the different phone companies.
too many options.
Yeah, way too many options. I think it should have been more the KISS principle, but anything else? All right.
So, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right. We have a need for an executive session.
Thanks, sir.
All right. In that case, we'll adjourn at 9:18.